It was a quiet Tuesday morning at Café Lumière, a small Parisian-style café tucked in the corner of downtown Chicago. Emma, a young waitress with a worn apron and a heart full of dreams, was juggling orders when a nervous-looking man approached. "Bonjour," she greeted him, switching effortlessly into French, hoping to ease his anxious demeanor. The man's eyes widened in surprise, and a smile tugged at his lips. "Merci. I haven't heard French spoken outside Paris in years," he said softly. Emma's heart swelled. It wasn't just the language, it was the connection, the comfort she offered with a simple greeting. What she didn't notice immediately was the man at the next table, sharply dressed, quiet, yet observant. A subtle aura of power surrounded him. As Emma served pastries and refilled coffee cups, he scribbled something on a small piece of paper, tucked it alongside a black envelope, and left without a word. When Emma finally cleared the last plate, she saw it. A handwritten note read, "Talent like yours deserves the world. Flight to Paris, this weekend." Confused and trembling, she opened the envelope. Inside was a first-class ticket to Paris. Her mind raced. Who was this mysterious benefactor? The man at the next table, unnoticed, had witnessed her kindness, her skill, her ability to connect across languages, and he had decided to change her life with a simple, selfless gesture. For the first time in months, Emma felt the weight of possibility instead of debt. The universe, it seemed, sometimes rewards those who serve with heart. Emma barely slept that night. The flight ticket to Paris lay on her kitchen counter, shimmering under the soft glow of her lamp. Questions swirled in her mind. Who was the mysterious benefactor? Why her? And most importantly, could she really leave everything behind and chase this unexpected opportunity? At the cafe, whispers followed her like shadows. Her co-workers teased gently, "Paris, huh? Fancy." But Emma barely heard them. Her thoughts were elsewhere, imagining the cobblestone streets, the smell of fresh croissants, the chance to finally pursue her dream of culinary school abroad. The next morning, she arrived early, determined to face the world differently. She rehearsed polite French phrases and mentally prepared herself to embrace the unknown. The cafe felt smaller, more ordinary somehow, now that the possibility of something extraordinary loomed ahead. Before she could board the flight, she returned to the cafe one last time. A few regular customers were sipping lattes, chatting softly, and the manager stopped her, eyes curious. "Leaving so soon?" he asked. Emma smiled, trying to hide the jittery excitement. "It's an opportunity," she said simply. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Standing near the door was the sharply dressed man from the cafe, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. His presence was calm but commanding. "I wanted to make sure you knew this isn't a gift without belief," he said, handing the flowers to her. "You have talent, but more importantly, you have heart. That counts for everything." Emma's throat tightened. For the first time, she realized this gesture wasn't about wealth or status, it was about seeing potential where others might overlook it. The world, she thought, can be cruel, but also unexpectedly beautiful. As she hugged the bouquet, the flight to Paris didn't feel like an escape anymore. It felt like the first step toward the life she had always imagined. The plane touched down in Paris as dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold. Emma pressed her hand against the window, awestruck. The city she had only dreamed of was now alive beneath her eyes, cobblestone streets, cafes spilling with sunlight, and the distant hum of life waking up. With the envelope still clutched in her hand, she navigated the airport and took a taxi to a small, charming guesthouse near Montmartre. Every corner of the city seemed to whisper possibility, and her heart raced with excitement. This wasn't just a trip, it was a chance to grow, to learn, to live fully. The next day, she arrived at the Culinary Institute, clutching her acceptance papers that had been included in the mysterious benefactor's note. The hallways buzzed with young chefs, all eager to prove themselves. Emma felt a pang of doubt. Could she really belong here? Her hands shook as she tied her apron, recalling the gentle French greetings she had shared at the cafe. That small act of kindness had led her here, she owed it to herself to try. Classes were intense. The chefs demanded precision, speed, and creativity. Emma stumbled, burnt a few dishes, and questioned if she could keep up. Yet, every time she hesitated, she remembered the note, "You have heart." That belief, though from a stranger, gave her courage. By the end of the week, her efforts began to pay off. A simple croissant she baked caught the attention of a mentor, who encouraged her to experiment with flavors. The city, once intimidating, now felt like a playground of possibilities. That evening, standing by the Seine, Emma realized something profound: kindness has a ripple effect. One small gesture at a cafe in Chicago had set off a chain of events that transformed her life completely. Weeks passed, and Emma thrived at the Culinary Institute, her confidence growing with each dish she perfected. But Paris, beautiful as it was, had its challenges. One morning, as she prepared for a high-stakes tasting competition, she discovered that a fellow student had sabotaged her ingredients, leaving her with spoiled dough and ruined sauces. Panic surged through her, months of effort could crumble in a single moment. Her first instinct was despair. She thought of giving up, returning to Chicago, letting the dream slip away. But then, she remembered the handwritten note, "You have heart." Those words weren't just encouragement, they were a call to resilience. Taking a deep breath, she improvised, combining fresh ingredients and experimenting with flavors she had never tried. The competition began. Emma presented her dish with trembling hands, unsure if it would be enough. The judges took a bite, paused, and then smiled. Her creative twist, the fusion of traditional French pastry with a subtle hint of American flavors, stunned them. She hadn't just recovered, she had elevated her dish to something extraordinary. Later, as the awards were announced, Emma heard her name called for a special recognition prize. Her classmates, even the one who tried to sabotage her, watched in awe. Tears welled up as she realized that adversity had strengthened her resolve rather than breaking it. That evening, walking along the Seine, Emma felt a profound gratitude, not just for the ticket that brought her to Paris, but for every challenge, every act of kindness she had received along the way. Life, she understood, wasn't about waiting for luck, it was about recognizing opportunities and having the courage to act. In the heart of Paris, she smiled, feeling unstoppable, ready for whatever came next. Months had passed, and Emma had flourished at the Culinary Institute. She had grown from a timid waitress into a confident, inventive chef. Her creations began attracting attention from local cafes and food critics, but despite her success, she never forgot the mysterious gesture that had changed her life. One afternoon, while presenting her latest pastry collection at a small gallery cafe, a familiar presence caught her eye. The sharply dressed man, the benefactor, stood quietly in the corner, observing her. Emma froze, heart pounding. Could it really be him? She approached cautiously, unsure what to say. He smiled warmly. "Emma," he said simply, "you didn't need me to give you a ticket. You needed to see what you were capable of. And now, you've shown it beautifully." Emma's eyes filled with tears. I can't thank you enough," she whispered. "This opportunity changed everything." He shook his head gently. "It was your heart, your resilience, your willingness to connect and care. That's what made me know you deserved a chance." In that moment, Emma realized something profound. Kindness is a seed that, when nurtured, grows far beyond what we imagine. A small gesture at a cafe in Chicago had set in motion a journey she could never have planned, but one that had shaped her into the person she had always wanted to be. As the man left, Emma looked around the bustling Parisian streets, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. She knew that her journey was just beginning. With courage, heart, and determination, she could create a life filled with purpose, joy, and generosity. And in her heart, she carried a promise, to pay forward the kindness that had once found her, believing that even the smallest gesture could change someone's world forever.